Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. Everything is on the line. Must win in Las Vegas. 9-7 Raiders, 9-7 Chargers. You win, you are in. You lose, you go home, tail between your legs, and you don't do shit until next September with an entire off season wondering what if. Biggest Raider game of the last decade. Screw that 2016 playoff game where Carr was hurt and the Texans quarterback was hurt, and it was just kind of a mess. This is the biggest game of 10 years. We were flirting with the idea of getting into the playoffs, win or lose.
Hollywood
Jacksonville,
Brown, god damn,
upsetting the Colts. Steelers, Big Ben pulled one out of his ass. They win. It's all up to the Raiders now. Exactly how we drew it up and exactly how we wanted it when we woke up this morning. Game time, baby!
I can't express how nervous I am right now. I was nervous this morning. Honestly, I couldn't go to sleep. I went to bed at like 1:30 in the morning. Yep. I was just sitting there like just tossing and turning. The last time I looked at my phone was like 1:05-ish. So about 1:30-ish, that's where I went. I was sleeping 1:15, 1:30 around there. And I woke up at like 11 a.m. and I'm like, oh boy, I don't have to watch any of these games. Like, I'll watch the second half when it matters, right? Fuck the first half. I get up, roll, and check the scores, and I'm like, Jacksonville's up. What?
They're up by more.
They're up by a lot.
Up by more.
Wait. Wow.
Carson Wentz, you beautiful, beautiful man. My favorite quarterback in football.
Oh, God. You know what? I think he's now my favorite non-Raider. So, it was Jackpot Joey because of the fucking guns and the cigar, but now it's Carson Wentz. He's my favorite non-Raider. And then I started watching like an idiot. I turned on the Steelers at Ravens and just watched Hollywood Brown single-handedly flush the team's season down the toilet, dropping touchdowns, dropping passes to get yourself in field goal range in overtime. Like, he just didn't want to win that game.
This was legitimately this genuinely felt like I was 7 years old and waiting for Christmas. Like this morning, I was like, how can I make time go faster? Can I just take a sleeping pill and just go into a coma for 7 hours? Just
That's why I slept.
Up? That's what I want. I should have stayed up super late last night, slept in as late as I could. I got a 2-year-old, so that was impossible. But that was genuinely how I felt. I was like, I'm not it is pure excitement and anticipation. I'm fully aware we're underdogs. Everyone's picking against us. Well, I'll share you the highlight I made of all the media picking the Chargers, right?
I'll send you a shit ton of that stuff.
I'm aware of all that. But my emotions is pure, genuine anticipation and excitement. This is what we live for. This is why you love sports. This is why you fall in love with your team. Is everything on the line against your rival. You can knock them out. You can knock yourself in. Everything that this team has gone through, right? We all know the laundry list of shit that this team has had to overcome. And yet, here we are. You're here, ready to take on our rivals, knock them in the mouth, kick them in the dick, throw them back to San Diego. Not even back to LA. All the way back to San Diego, we're going to kick their asses so bad. You know, when a boxer gets his bell rung so bad, he wanders over to the wrong corner? That's what we're going to do to the Chargers. They're going to be like, oh, man, I can take a left on I-15. Head back to Qualcomm. Oh, wait. Wait. Who's driving?
Huh?
Oh, man. That's what we're going to do in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm ready for it, man. I bit a canker sore in my cheek. I'm so nervous. I'm like, I did so much. I was so productive today just because I wanted to just not think about football.
Yeah.
I made myself this elaborate freaking breakfast. And it wasn't a lot of food, but I had to cook everything by hand, and I took my time and made handmade tortillas. You're
so out of it that you called your mouth herpes a canker sore. That's how excited you were.
I changed. He liked that. I changed my headlights in my car to the stronger headlights, and I got some off. I wonder if this is true. So I sprayed off on my headlights, and I wiped all the grime off, and I'm like, damn, it really does. I was doing all kinds of stupid shit. I threw away like almost a garbage bag full of junk from my trunk. I was doing all kinds of stuff just to not watch football and not be like, oh my God, what's going on?
I was the opposite. Thank God that week 18 was awesome. I loved
a
seeing week
lot of
18.
good games.
Dude, the games are insane. Obviously, we're just like on pins and needles because like we heard all the possible scenarios this week, right? If the Steelers lose and if the Colts lose, right? We're like, all right, Colts are playing the Jaguars. Jaguars just got like 50 put on them last week. It's like, okay, like that's probably not going to happen, but here's the scenarios just so we can say so. And you're like, all right, that's not going to happen. And you turn on the game and it's like 7-3, 10-3, 13-3, 22-10. You're like, oh God. The Jags pulled it off. The Jags actually pulled it off. And we shouldn't have been that surprised. You looked up the stat on that, and you see heading into today, the Colts hadn't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Indianapolis is 0-5 against the Jaguars in Jacksonville, with another road loss against the Jags in the 2016 game in London, plus today. So technically, 7-game losing streak for the Colts on the way to Jacksonville. It's like, is there like a strip club in Jacksonville that they always go to and they stay out so late they forget how to play football? Like, is there just like a pimp in Jacksonville that's just sending all these like crazy hookers to their house and just loading them up with like cocaine and roofies, and they wake up the next morning just falling apart? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like that chick Sunshine from what was that movie? That Eddie Murphy movie? Harlem Nights, where they use that hooker Sunshine. When she spreads her legs, it's like a ray of sunshine. Mess that dude up. I know there's a couple in Tampa that'll screw you up pretty good. I don't know. I've never been to Jacksonville.
Well, if you do, I'm sure you'll scout them out. You'll stiff them out like a basset hound, Soto. The really, really trashy, crazy hookers. So 5:20 p.m. Pacific time, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time, NBC primetime game. Very last game of the very last regular season weekend of the longest season in the history of the NFL, the new 18-week season. The stage is set. And this is the storyline for me of this game, is all the things the Raiders have gone through this season, right? John Gruden getting let go because of the emails. Henry Ruggs' absolute calamity with the DUI and that tragedy. Damon Arnett. And, Darren Waller out for a month and a half. People forget, Carl Nassib coming out. I've been told forever, oh, that's going to cause controversy in the locker room. The whole half the front office getting let go this offseason. Like, thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. If the Raiders lose, everyone's going to forget the hardships. They're just going to be like, okay, they didn't make the playoffs again. That's all anyone's going to remember. If the Raiders win and go into the playoffs, then it's one of the greatest stories in sports. Overcoming all that adversity and still getting into the playoffs where anything can happen, right? In poker, they say all you need is a chip and a chair, right? In the playoffs, you just need to be there. And then whatever can happen, could happen. If the Raiders win, it's that amazing story of overcoming adversity. Rich Bisaccia out of nowhere leads this team to where they got to go. Derek Carr, one of the most controversial players in football, leads the team there. If they lose and don't go, it won't even be an asterisk. It won't even be a side note. It's going to be, nope, Raiders, hey, they went 9-8. Cool. They didn't go to the playoffs. No, everyone's going to forget everything they went to unless they win tonight.
And it should be that way. Overcoming adversity, you have to overcome. And the way
otherwise you're just adversiting.
You're just going through it. You're just going through it.
To adversity.
Yeah, the Raiders are going through it. They went through it that year. And that's it. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that narrative. I don't really care about that. Being we should. If we go out there and we don't get it done, then everything that anyone says to us, you know what? Okay, fine. We'll get them next year. Like, it's just the way it is. I've been in sports, and I've been in different, like, you fought, JR, like, yeah, when we both competed in jiu-jitsu stuff, and like you put everything on the line, and you have to go full force, and if you don't, There's no, moral victories in these things. You go out there and you win or you don't win. You get it done or you don't get it done. And when you don't get it done, if someone wants to freaking prance around and like jump up and down and hug everybody and their grandma, what are you going to say? Nothing. Like, oh, you fucking beat me. What do you want to do? And it's the same thing here. I want that narrative gone now. That, okay, they're the guys that get close. They can almost get there. But they're going to end up raidering it. When's the last time we didn't quote unquote raid or something? 1984, when we actually went there. When we actually went and won. We had the Bo Jackson game, the Bills game, when we freaking got our just shit pushed into the back of our teeth. We had the better team. We just were coming. We had Marcus Allen, dude. Like we didn't have a running back that could run the ball.
Yeah,
it just was one of those things where when we had these chances to make things happen, we didn't. And it's been 37 years since we've won a Super Bowl. We got to make it happen, man. That's the bottom line. We got to go out there and make it happen. Regardless, everything that happened before in this entire year doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. Nothing matters. Everything matters. The only thing that matters is 5:20 p.m. on the West Coast, kickoff time. That's all that matters. Because everything else that happened,
complete football.
Yeah, everything else that happened this year doesn't matter because we're still in it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those great. You live for those moments as an athlete, as a team, as a professional, as anyone in the spotlight. It's overcoming something. Like, you live for these moments. Like, this is why, like, this is the Rocky story and underdogs, and it's like the whole phrase, like, why? That's why they play the game. It's like you only have a chance to do something great if you put yourself in a position to do something great, right? If you're the number 1 seed and you win the Super Bowl, like, cool, like, awesome, right? Like, everything went the way you want it to go, right? Like, you're the Rams, or you're the Bucks, or, you're the Packers, right? You've got your Hall of Fame quarterback and everything went great. Your coach didn't get fired. Your number 1 receiver didn't kill anybody. Your DB didn't threaten someone's life on Instagram, right? Like, everything just went hunky-dory and you go about your way. The Raiders have a chance to do something extremely special today and in this postseason because they've been hit with the unlucky stick, right? We are pulled into a catapult with the rubber just tight as possible. We can either fall out in the playoffs and take off without us, or we can ride that goddamn rocket ship as far as we can go. But we only have that opportunity because we've been hit with that adversity. People only know what we can overcome because we've been hit with something that's basically impossible to overcome. Like, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to do something special.
Yeah, the Raiders have shown themselves how little off the field issues mean on the field. They've shown themselves these last 4 games or these last 3 games. They've shown themselves that. Despite all those things that happen off the field, if you focus and are there on the field, none of that stuff matters.
Yeah.
I've had so many people, I've hired and fired so many people, it's ridiculous. I don't even want to freaking admit how many I have. But I tell people when they're going through, no, it's not about that. I've just been doing it for a long time.
Ian Brown, chick's pretty hot, by the way, buddy. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, does she have some kind of sight issue or something? So the thing that I was saying is, when I would have people come in to work and they have all these problems going on outside of work, I tell them, look, nothing you do inside these walls is going to make any difference what happens out there.
Mm-hmm.
So come in, grab all your shit, put it on the shit shelf, go to work. When you're done with work, grab your shit and take it with you.
Yep.
That's what the Raiders have to do right now. All the shit doesn't matter when you're on the field. None of that stuff matters. None of that stuff can help you. None of that stuff can hurt you when you're on the field. It's those guys that have the same uniform that you guys have on, and that's it. And they're proving that to themselves. And it's the belief in yourself is something when that's unshakable, when no one could take that belief away from you, that's very dangerous. Mm-hmm. And when the Raiders had to do is put themselves in the corner where we cannot lose anymore. took that kind of iffiness away where they had to focus and they had to get it done, and they've been doing it. You saw, I shared it with you earlier today, when 3 weeks ago before they played the Browns, it was, hey man, we have to win out. We're in the playoffs starting today. We have to win these next 4 games to make it to the playoffs, and then once we're there, we got to keep winning. So either grab onto the rope or let the rope go. Are you in or are you out? There's no middle ground here. And that's the attitude you have to have. And the really good teams, the perennial good teams that are in the playoffs every year, not only are they talented, yeah, they have good players, but Jacksonville showed it today. The worst team in the league, when they're motivated enough, when they're focused enough, can beat anybody. The teams that win consistently are the teams that have this attitude, that attitude the Raiders have right now from week 1. So our week 1 just happened to start like week 15.
You want to see? You want to see the most beautiful sight in the world?
I don't want to see your taint again, JR. Don't show me that.
Well, are your pants on or off right now, Soto?
I have basketball shorts on, and they are on up to my armpits.
That is one Darren Waller. Sexy. Healthy, catching touchdown passes. This is pre-game warm. So we're T-minus 19 minutes away from kickoff. This was about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago during pregame warm-ups. Darren Waller is back.
Dude,
he looks healthy.
How much bigger? Zay Jones is a big receiver. How much bigger is he than Zay Jones? As he walks by him, he's like 5 yards behind him, and he still looks taller than him.
He's so much.
He's so much bigger than him.
Look at that. Yeah, an athlete too. Remember like when Shaq first came into the league, and you're like, oh, he's so big, another big dude, and you're like, oh my god, that guy moves like a point guard. He's 900
Dude, he was
pounds.
Like 7'2", like 270, and he was just a crazy athlete. And then he stands next to Yao Ming, and Yao Ming makes Shaq next to him look like Kevin Hart next to Shaq.
So we got Darren Waller back. He looks, I don't know what percentage of health he is. It's been 5 games that he's missed, plus COVID, knee injury, back injury. The Raiders never give like details on injury. Looks good. Looks fresh, jumping around, moving pretty well. We got him back. Josh Jacobs was questionable. He's playing with that rib injury. Jonathan Hankins was questionable. He's playing. Basically, everyone that matters more or less that can play is basically there. Carl Nassib out. He was, he's a tweener guy, good rotational guy. But we're about as healthy as we can expect to be 18 weeks into the NFL season, which is nice.
Yeah. The IT band a lot of times creeps into like a back injury sometimes. It's because it's connected to the hip. It's basically more of a hip thing, a rear hip thing that's probably diagnosed as a back thing. But yeah, the IT band is a lot of stuff connects to it. And when you have a IT band issues, being kicked in the leg, that whole side from like your armpit down to your foot freaking hurts when you get kicked with there was a quick story. Back when we were not as successful as we are now, which is weird because we're not really that successful now. We all shared Vegas rooms, and RJ was in Vegas, and he was calling the fight where Anderson Silva broke his leg against Chris Weidman. And there was like a couple of our buddies that were in the room with us. We just all piled into the room.
Yep.
And I'm walking out of the shower with my shorts on. Okay, don't get stupid. And I feel someone jump on my back. This guy's a doctor now, which is weird. Jumps on my back, tries to choke me.
He's a chiropractor jumping on your back, which is
right?
more ironic.
Grabbing onto my neck, and I'm like falling over. And then RJ, shin to bone, shin to thigh, kicks the shit out of my leg. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? I limped like an entire rest of
You deserved it. I should have kicked you in the nuts.
You should have, but you didn't.
I should have. I didn't. All right, so here's the breakdown. 9-7 versus 9-7. Big, glaring, obvious one right there. Rushing defense of the Chargers, 30th. They give up 137 yards per game. They used to be 32nd. That number, they got a little bit better because they started playing shit run teams. Everyone's like, oh man, the Chargers, they're starting to, the run defense is getting a little bit better. No, they're just playing shit teams. With even a semi-healthy Josh Jacobs, even if we need to like rotate in Jalen Richard or however this is going to work, like we need to be running the ball down the Chargers' throat. Between the tackles, just our young offensive line, which is getting better. Like steady improvement throughout this season, I think is fair Andre James, our center, getting better. Colton Miller, still one of the best left tackles in football. Leatherwood started off awful, but trending in the right direction, right? We should be able to run the ball down the throat of this defense, because what does Justin Herbert do great? Dink and dunk. Ball control, keep the ball moving, move the chains. You can go deep if he needs to, but that's kind of what he does, right? And what's the key to beating Gus Bradley's offense?
Dink and dunk.
Dink and dunk. Control the clock, move the ball with short little passes. So we need to do to the Chargers what Justin Herbert and offense wants to do to us.
Yeah, the issue that we're going to run into defensively is their biggest weapon on offense is what is an Achilles heel to a Gus Bradley defense. And that's Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler for the Chargers is like Hunter Renfrow for us, but he also runs the ball, so he can get the ball a lot more. He has the ball in his hands a lot more often, and they'll probably have an equal amount of receptions. Hunter Renfrow will have more yards because he catches the ball downfield more. But all those touches that Eckler receives in the run game, it makes it. The Chargers are going to go as Austin Eckler goes this game. If he's able to get those chunk plays when the defense is covering the receivers downfield, and it's going to be a big game for Divine Diablo today, because Perriman's not going to be the guy. Perriman is a tackle-to-tackle box run stuffer. That's him. He's not going to be chasing down Austin Eckler on the outside. That's going to be Diablo's job to stay with him and get him on the ground. Teamer on the other side, rarely they're on the same side, but we have to, that's going to be a big thing for us defensively, is keep Austin Eckler in check. If we're able to do that, and we're able to, we've seen it before. Last time we played these guys, if we force Herbert into some obvious passing situations, he couldn't turn the ball over. He trusts his arm a lot, and he should. He's got a great arm, he's got great tools, but he's a little bit of a gunslinger, and he's young still, and he tries to fit stuff in where it doesn't fit unless you spit on it.
Yeah, that's the key. Mr. Shish 43, Mr. SHS 43, F the Chargers. Just FYI, guys. You can say fuck the Chargers on this show. Yeah, if you are, if you're a better gentleman than Soto or I, and you don't want to swear, so be it. Certainly your call. We're not going to be bad influences on you, but we're not going to be good influences on you either. Feel free to say fuck the Chargers. You can change things up and say fuck the Bolts. You can do whatever you want. But yes.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's a super chat, you can say whatever the hell you want.
Another thing. Do you think Derek Carr remembers this from Joey Bosa when he said last time we played? Was it week 4? We know once we hit him a few times, he really gets shook. Once you get pressure on him, he kind of shuts down. The irony, if you remember, is after Carr started really slow, and then he got sacked a couple times, and then played his best part of the game. So it was like he literally played opposite of what Joey Bosa is saying. But don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. And that was kind of Joey Bosa's mentality. It's like, let me get in his head. And honestly, like, he knows, like, he kind of knew, like, all right, this might be a team that we're going to play again for playoff contention. They were obviously going to play him again, and it might mean a lot. The playoffs might be in the line. Let me set this narrative. Let me try to get into his head any way that I can. And he was right if that's what he was thinking. Obviously, we're winning in, losing you're out. And here he is trying to, like, put those little things in Derek Carr's brain. I don't feel like Derek Carr is the kind of guy to let something like this bother him. I mean, when he was obviously asked about it 100 times after the game and the week following, and it was just kind of like water off a duck's back. Like,
I don't know, man. He
look,
was
when you're facing Joey Bosa, who's trying to take your head off, crush your rib cage in, knock your helmet off, blow your knees out, and the only thing between you and Joey Bosa is Brandon Parker, it's not Joey Bosa's words you're worried about. You know what I mean? It's like the last thing from Joey Bosa you care about is what's coming out of his vocal cords.
No, you're saying that it didn't bother him. I'm saying that it did. And he did show that it bothered him. He did show that he was upset by that. And we all know that Derek Carr, yes, he did. He did. We talked about it. We talked about that. He's like, okay, that's unfortunate that he said that. And and this and that, and he's like, oh, okay, he said that. All right, that's as upset as he's going to show that he is. Yeah. But Derek Carr recently, the new and improved Derek Carr has shown that he's like the coupon king of verbal receipts. You know, he'll keep those receipts. He shoved that receipt right back in Gannon's face. Let's hope that he still got that chip on his shoulder. He shoves that receipt right back in Bosa's face.
Yeah. The Raiders are slight underdogs to the Chargers. Chargers about -3, 3.5. The line went all over the place today, right? Like with Jacksonville winning, then it seemed like with the Raiders, like it didn't matter if the Raiders won or lost. The line jumped up to like Chargers -7.5. Now it's back down to 3. It was a circus, but all week long, it's been nearly unanimous that the media is back in the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And I love it. The Raiders as underdogs play better than anybody.
Yeah, they always play the best.
Here's a reminder of what the media thinks of our Las Vegas Raiders.
Listen, my head says the Chargers.
I'm going to say that the Chargers have the edge in this football game. I think the Chargers win the football game.
So the Chargers are a better representation and a truer playoff team. Here's why. They've got a full-time coach.
Here's our picks.
If we look at the polls, 69% of you guys favor the Chargers to win in this game. 31% are taking the Raiders. Give us the Chargers to win by 4.
I got to put my money on him right now.
Yeah, I would have to do the same thing. I mean, Justin Herbert, he's phenomenal.
I'm going to go late field goal, 23-21 Chargers victory.
Justin Herbert, 35th touchdown toss of the season, is now a franchise record.
And Chargers Raiders Sunday Night Football for a playoff spot.
Chargers -3.
Me as well.
We're about T-8 minutes away from.
There's like 90% Chargers.
Everyone's in on the Chargers.
Four people chose, and one of them was the Raiders beat writer, Paul Gutierrez. Like everyone, like pretty much everyone's picking the Chargers.
Well, and this is the thing. When the Raiders beat the Chargers today, it's going to be everything we talked about earlier, overcoming adversity, all the things the Raiders had to go through this season. That's only a cool story if they win. If they lose, everyone forgets about that, right? No one remembers when, a UFC champion loses and he went in there with like 2 blown out knees, right? Everyone just remembers the win-loss. If they win, then they remember the adversity they overcome. Same thing here, right? We got to win this to let people know what we're capable of. And this is the other story though here is as well. The Chargers are more talented at almost every position. Like when you stop and think about it, receiver, running back, O-line, D-line, DB. Most people would say quarterback. I mean, we got kicker and punter.
We have kicker, punter, and linebackers.
Linebacker, right? And that's the other part is this is why everyone's picking, right? You just like that's I think with like the lazy way that a lot of analysts look at matchups is all right, who's got better players, which makes sense, right? Better players normally win big games. But when the Raiders win tonight, those are the 2 big stories to me are everything they overcome and they still won. And they were literally the less talented team. And they're still going to pull this off because all this team chemistry that we've been talking about forever, which is why I didn't want Odell Beckham on the team. I didn't want assholes on the team. It's like the biggest thing we got going for us is this team unity. Is this everyone's buying into this? We're not the most talented team. We're not the fastest team. We're not the strongest team. We're not the best team, the most disciplined team. But we're a team. T-E-A-M. What other reason can you explain for us beating much more talented people? Are we out coaching them? I don't think so. Are our best guys playing huge when they need to? Sort of, sometimes, yeah. The only thing I can point to is just the ultimate playing team together. Sport is football and playing together as a team. Carr throws a pick, defense bails him out. Defense break, Carr bails them out. Josh Jacobs fumbles, we get intercept. Like whatever it is, right? We are plugging the holes that this team leaves, and people are stepping up.
Yeah, once they win this game, I want to stop talking about all the adversity we've overcome and making it a little bit more positive going forward. Like now I want to talk about we have a chip on our shoulder. as opposed to saying, "Oh, we've overcome so much." Is no. Now we have this chip on our shoulder moving forward. That's the narrative I want to push going forward after we win this game. Forget what happened in the past, because that's already gone. That's already in and out of our system. Doesn't matter on the field. From here on out, it's all about the chip on our shoulder.
Mr. SHS43, Joey is a bitch. YouTube doesn't want me to curse. We'll do it for you. We got you, Mr. SHS. Not a problem. We got your back.
Bitch.
Did you see Alec Ingold? Well, two more things before we go, because it's going to be kickoff here in just a second.
Yeah, man, I watched the game.
Did you see Alec Ingold's open letter that he put on the Las Vegas Review-Journal to the team or to the city?
I did.
He ended it
for the fans
with all of that to say this: we need you, Raider Nation. We need you, Las Vegas. We've been through a lot. We've got one more game to win, and it's all hands on deck. It doesn't matter if you're watching in Henderson or Lake Las Vegas, downtown Summerlin, or North Vegas. We need all you. Al Davis said the greatness of the Raiders lies in their future. The future of the Raiders starts now. And what a true leader, where it's, I'm injured, I can't do anything. How can I help? What can I possibly do? Open letter in the city's biggest sports section. That's the way to go. All right. We're going to end you with this. I got a really good buddy of mine.
Game time, baby.
Who's a Charger fan. And he sent me this text today. He's just like, "Oh, you're my best friend, but I hope nothing but terrible things on you. Hope the Raiders do terrible." So I made this for him, specifically for him. But because I love y'all, I'll share it with you. We'll see you guys in postgame.
I am going to savage you this week. I am going to take each one of your pre-existing holes and fill it with my seed. I want to see.
Oh, no, honey. Daddy's doing adult talk.
And then invite my infant son in to go potty inside of you like you're a rest stop bathroom.
Blimey. No.
Nobody will hear your screams of
guys hearing
agony.
this?
Lappy.
I'm going to take my hand, stick it inside of you, and then open it like a base. I'm going to take a razor blade and slice from your taint to your ball sack, and then open it up like a taco.
Ray.